Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be fitting some bash plates to the Gen 3 Pajero. Now it's going to fit both the Gen 4 and the Gen 3. So yeah, today's tutorial, I'll just show you how to bolt it up, what it looks like, and yeah, and we'll go from there. So let's get into it. All right, so here she is. So as you can see, it still has the factory plate. Now this is actually the same one you'll find on the Gen 4 Pajero. So the front one is actually metal, but it's a very thin metal. And then the second one will be plastic, but as you can see, mine is actually missing. And then we'll also be fitting the transmission plate. As you can see, there's nothing over there. And here's the important part, right? So you've got all these wires exposed for your front diff. So like your actuator is sitting there and all your vacuum lights and stuff. So if you're gonna be hitting that off-road, chances are you're gonna lose four-wheel drive. So then you're stuck in two-wheel drive. So that's not a good thing. So you definitely want to protect that. And then probably the most important one is at the front here. Your intercooler sits right behind this bash plate. So if you're going to be bashing that in, you're going to be damaging your intercooler. So I'll show you once I have this plate off. So yep, before you go off-road in your Pajero, get some bash plates. So here we have it, guys. So this is our front set. It's made out of 6mm Aluminium. So as you can see, it's nice and tough. And it's also super light. So this will be the intercooler plate, and then you also have the second one over here. Now it is a bit dirty because I've actually already had this installed on the car, so I'm just taking it off for this video. But yeah, so both sets do weigh just under 10 kilos. So it's super light. It's probably one of the lightest ones on the market, and it also does have the hole to service your car, so you don't have to take the plate off to drain the oil. Which is very handy. And then also one of the most important things about the front plate is airflow. So as you can see, there's plenty of airflow, and there's also folded sides to add a bit more protection for your car. But yeah, anyway, let's now install it, and it also comes with new bolts that's stainless steel as well. So yeah, let's get into it. And over here is our transmission bash plate. So it's the same thing. It's made out of 6mm Aluminium to keep things nice and light. And this plate as well is 10 kilos, and it's also got the vents over there to drain the oil, and makes it all nice and easy. You don't have to take this off. So I'm not sure if this will fit the Gen 3 Pajero, because I know for sure it does fit the Gen 4, but we do have a diesel automatic NP Pajero, which is a Gen 3. So I'm going to test it today and see if it fits, and then we can update the listing on the website. Right, so here's the old plate. As you can see, it's nice and rusty, and over here is the intercooler. So there you go, it literally sits right behind the bash plate. So that's what I mean by saying you need a bash plate if you're going to go off-road, because if you hit it, it's going to hit the intercooler, and then you have a chance of losing boost if this splits open, which is not good at all. And yeah, over here you have your radiator. So another important thing, if you get a stone chipped up in there, it can damage your radiator and you can lose coolant. So yeah, definitely important to grab some bash plate, guys. Right, so what you can do is do up the two back bolts first. So that one and this one over here. And then the plate will be nice and tucked up there. And then we can do the second plate. So it makes use of the factory bolt holes, so you don't have to drill any holes or anything. But yeah, do the back one first, and then we'll do this plate here. Okay, now this is an important part. So you have these bolts with their normal round washer. So they go at the back and in the middle, and then so that one as well. Because it's 6mm, it's very hard to fold it like a perfect 90 to make it flush. So what we do is we add the spacer up there, and then the bash plate will sit flush against that, and then it's all good. You'll also notice there's these washers over here, so it looks like that, and it's going to go like that there. Alright, so hopefully that all makes sense, but it's essentially just to work with the plate because it is 6mm thick. Okay, so start in the middle, so just make sure it basically grabs on. There you go, and then do the same on the other side. Perfect. Now you can do the same at the front. So once you put the metal bolts in, what you can now do is lift up your front plate, And now you just got to slide it in. That slot over there, make sure it goes in. So it will go underneath the sump plate, if that makes sense. So closest to the ground, and then you can just line it up here at the top. Now you can put your spacer in like that. So easy, and now you can sort of see what I mean. So the spacer's at the top there, and then you have this washer, so the round side is on this side, and then the edge is up against there, as you can see. There you go. And then just same on the other side, and now you can do up the front and then the middle ones, and then your bash plates are installed. Nice and easy. Perfect, and there you go guys, you have yourself some solid bash plates. So it does suit the Gen 3 and 4, petrol and diesel, automatic and manual. But yeah, looks good. Now as you can see, there's some marks because you obviously touch it and everything. If you do want to clean it up, just spray some degreaser, then it will be nice and shiny. But yeah, it's very solid, and it's perfectly like bended over here now. Works well with the spacer. And yeah, you can like give it a good shake. It's not going anywhere. Now the other question I have as well from people all the time is whether it suits nudge bars. Now that sort of depends, alright, because some nudge bars are mounted over here, so that would mean it will come with a spacer, so the bash plate will basically come lower and be mounted here, and then there's a little gap at the top here. Other nudge bars I've seen, it bolts to the side of the chassis here, and then it comes around like here, and then yeah, that means bash plates will fit because it bolts to here. So yeah, it just depends where your nudge bar is mounted. But yeah, the front looks great, and then now it's protected at the back as well, and also the back also have these folded sides. So yeah, we basically protected it as much as we could, but I reckon that looks great. So here's the old plate, and it literally looks like it's 1mm steel. So if I step on it, there you go, that bends in. So yeah, it does not protect you from damages at all, because yeah, that just bends in right away. So instead of 1mm, you now have 6mm. So in terms of the transmission plate, I did test fit it on this NP 3.2 diesel, and it fits. Now the reason I can't fit it on this one in particular is because we got an upgraded exhaust, and this is 3 inches. It does sit lower, so unfortunately it's rubbing against the plate. But yeah, it will fit the standard exhaust system. So essentially you just got to put these screws in at the back here. So there's one hole on this side, one on the other, and then you just make it tight, and then same for the front. So it will just bolt into that one and that one over there, and then the end piece ones will bolt onto here. So on the Gen 3 you've got a spacer, and then you've got a spring washer, and then you've got a nut. So what you got to do is get the nut off, leave the spacer there, and then when the plate's on, it's going to sit flush, and then you can put the nut back on, or you can take this off, swap it around, and let the nut be on the other side if that's easier for you. But yeah, it will fit the Gen 3 as well. So there you go guys, that's how you fit up your Mitsubishi Pajero bash plate. So the front set and the transmission set will also work on the Gen 3 diesel model only. Fortunately, the cross member on the petrol sits a little bit backwards, and we haven't developed a plate for it, but let me know in the comments if you would like a transmission plate developed for the petrol model. But yeah, the front set will fit automatic, manual, diesel, petrol, doesn't matter, they're all the same at the front. So yeah, that's good to go. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day. Cheers.